You're rocking with the best.
The way these whole spaces came about, it was never from the beginning about a discharge, don't pay your bills, no signing no coupon. That was never the original sovereigns. That was never the original intent. The original intent was for court situations. And even before that, the original intent was just to have a nationality. Now, having a nationality and identifying with something, it was never intended to be a legal issue. Having a nationality never was intended to be a legal issue. It was always a social issue. So the judge didn't need to know your nationality. The judge didn't need to know you was from this tribe. It didn't even matter because it was never intended to be a legal thing. Because of my nationality, I'm not obligated on this. That was never the original founder's intent. So I really find it very, very alarming with these spaces is that plenty of people took part of the whole wave and never really went back to the origins of how it started. See, me, I went back 40 years of the sovereign citizen, and I remember the original talking points and how it has evolved. Back then, they were saying I'm a sovereign citizen. Made no bones about it. And now today, people have realized that the sovereign citizen methods don't get no play in court. So now they denounce the name. See, the thing that makes it, and this is why I say only the 1% is ever going to sustain success and live life and have success in their path on a consistent basis, because the number one thing that was missing from the beginning was vigorous, in-depth research before you move. I call this space the space of the ants in your pants. From the gate, you were always told to do and go. File this, file that, write this, write that, submit this, submit that, do this, do that, say this, say that, say this, say that. There was never any attention to understanding. There was never any intention to understanding. And that is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Regardless if you miss that original wave of understanding, you have to go back and establish it. If it means you don't, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how you see it, how I see it. None of that matters. What I'm telling you is this. This system has been operating a certain way before we even knew about it. There is no way we can come into these people's system and automatically start moving knowing damn well you don't have the prerequisite knowledge of understanding and expect some outcomes to be in your favor. They lied to you. They told you didn't have to know this. They told you all you had to do was follow this. They told you, oh, I've already done it before. They told you, but ask this, has any of your teachers ever gave you understanding? Because understanding lasts you a lifetime. A script only or a template only takes you as far as it works. And when the template doesn't work, or it's outdated, or they change the rules, people were left like fish out of a water. Think about it. The 1099A way, everybody and their mama was doing it. That didn't work. Everybody's looking around. Somebody tell me what to do next. It's like it's what's the difference between this space and how the propaganda with the, how people say the government and all that. What's the difference? And the reality is there is no difference, because just like many people today expect the government to be responsible for their lives, all they did was just change the name and come over here and expect others to be responsible for them. And I'm going to stand on it. I'm going to stand on it. If people really knew what it took to get just the smallest victories and sustain it, 98% would not be here today. That's what coming your first introduction in it. If what we was learning in this class, if what we learned in this class was your first introduction in this space, I guarantee you 98% of the people would have not even went down this path. Because you have to remember, why were people interested in this in the first place? And you can have a myriad of reasons as why, but I guarantee you, just for the sole purpose of understanding what's going on, was not on the list. Was not on the list. What started out as a myth has changed the mindsets and beliefs of so many people for the worse. As soon as they introduce not being accountable and responsible, and that's all it is. And you can word it as any other thing. You can word it as discharge your debt, acceptance for value. Hey, you can word it as any of you want, but what it boils down to, it's no different from getting something and I have to pay for it. As soon as that was introduced in here, that was the number one original intent for so many people. They was never told, no, this takes vigorous research, takes vigorous understanding, so they could be more prepared. They was told that, now all you gotta do is do this, follow this, change nationality, you'll get this, you'll get that. That was their original foundation. I told you, whatever was your very first introduction into space, that is your foundation. I mean, why else would anyone send let's say a 1099 tax form into the IRS without ever reading the instructions, following up with the regulations, governing that form, and doing it solely based because someone said do it? And very few people was ever hitting on that aspect of this space before I got here. But when I got here, it started to resonate even more. And I started getting more backlash, not from the information. No one as yet has definitive, and I'm talking about no feelings based, straight up. I researched what you said. I researched what you said. I did it. And no one has ever, because they can't. And the ones who don't do it, either they was like, okay, you know what he's talking about, or the others, is too far out of the stratosphere for them to even attempt to verify it. Classic example. And all they said was, this 1099A is going to unlock a treasury account, or you can do this and do that, and the 1099A is going to pay for it. People were going into banks with 1099As, going to dealerships with them, telling the mortgage companies they're paying with a 1099A. I mean, making complete fools out of themselves. But you got to ask yourself this question: why would they roll the dice? University of North Carolina Penn State, Harvard, all these schools have done research on sovereign citizens dating back for 40, 50 years. I got the researches. I post them. And when I read all their research and I'm seeing what I see for myself, it all comes back to some type of victim. I was done wrong. Don't really know what, but I was done wrong. And under the false belief that this whole time the government has been making me work to pay my bills, and the whole time I had all this money in the account. That's all it took. Let me tell y'all this. That secret account was never enacted by Congress. It was never a law. It was never in the Constitution. It all started because someone said. This is the Roger Elvig days, the Barton Booth days, the late 90s, early 2000s sovereign citizen movement. One of the ones who spearheaded the movement. They said it was the people that wrote the redemption theory. They knew what they were doing. One of the oldest sovereign citizens who got put in prisons, he admitted as part of his plea deal with the feds when he went to prison that, yeah, he assisted almost like 50,000 people in fraudulent mortgage defenses, autos, this, that, and the third. And it was more so they knew they had no chance of succeeding, but he admitted that this was a way for us to show our distaste and belief of the government and how they encroach on people's lives. So people were coming to them for help, but they had another agenda, and it was putting that stuff in there saying, if we get many people with the same stuff, then they'll change their encroachment. They'll stop their encroachment. People lost everything behind this stuff. So yes, when I say this is study, don't move, that's what I mean.
You're 100%,
that's exactly what I mean.
When you go back 40 years to the beginning of what became the sovereign citizen movement, the early participants weren't chasing free money, private accounts, or illusionary loopholes. They weren't denying their names. They weren't running from responsibility. Their fight was rooted in social identity, not financial fantasy. Nationality debates were social arguments, never legal pathways. But somewhere along the line, the message was corrupted. What began as a conversation about government and citizenship morphed into a full-blown escape hatch ideology, the belief that denying your name, filing a 1099 OID, or bouncing between 1099-A and B forms could magically erase debt or unlock access to taxes paid by corporations you had no legal relationship with, no employment, no investment, no contractual nexus, just wishful thinking disguised as paperwork. And people paid the price. Families fractured, bank accounts frozen, refunds reversed, indictments filed, lives dismantled behind theories that were rejected not once, but repeatedly, for decades. And the irony is painful. All the new documents floating around today, the scripts, the affidavits, the step-by-step processes, they are nothing but recycled mutations of the same claims the courts shut down generations ago. But we are not part of that world. Our movement is different. We don't cling to myths, loopholes, or financial superstition. We stand on the law, on the case history, on the accounting, on the professional documentation that governs how the real system actually works. We deal in evidence, not imagination. And that is why we're not afraid to walk into the dark. Because in our world, the dark is knowledge.
Swimming, swimming, swimming.